A lot of you talk too much and you're ruining things that you don't even realize that you're ruining. You're talking yourselves out of opportunities. You're talking yourselves out of things you don't even realize you're talking yourselves out of. I've been rereading the 48 Laws of Power, and the fourth law is say less, just speak less. And that's really important for you to do, because the more you talk, the more you say things you don't really want to say. It's always say less than necessary, and it's not about manipulation. It's about just controlling what you want to control, controlling what comes out of your mouth, and trying to control how you're perceived by others. Because being silent isn't weakness, it's actually a pretty good discipline for you to really practice on and for you to really get into and try to get good at. People talk too much when they're anxious, they're insecure, or they're trying to seek validation from others. Also, people talk too much because silence is uncomfortable for a lot of people. When you're silent, people try to fill the void with some sort of noise. People don't like being in an interaction and things go silent and things go quiet and it's just two humans just in the presence of one another with no noise. That makes a lot of people uncomfortable for some reason. People think being quiet is them sort of losing ground in a way in a conversation, and that's not even what that is. That's not what that has to be. That's some made up thing that people just think for some reason. I don't know where this notion came from that if you're quiet, you're losing ground, or if you're quiet, you're doing something wrong in a conversation. There's nothing wrong with silence every once in a while. And speaking too quickly will often lead to you saying things that later on you wish you didn't say. How many times have you been done with the conversation, or you walked away from somebody thinking, dang, I shouldn't have even said that, or dang, I told them too much, or something like that. You told them too much of what you're planning. You told them too much of just something stupid you didn't even really want to say, just to say something for the sake of saying something. It happens far too often where people are just spewing out things, spewing whatever comes to their head first, just for the sake of doing it. I forgot who said this, but the quote goes along the lines of, I'd rather be silent and perceived as a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. And it's good to be in that position, because if you're silent and people think you're a fool, then you don't really lose anything for the most part. If you're silent and you just observe, all you can do is learn from that standpoint. All you can do is really take in and learn from your surroundings. But if you're always talking all the time, you can't talk and listen at the same time. You've heard it a hundred times, I'm sure. You have two ears and one mouth. You can listen a whole lot more than you can talk. And it's better that way if you do that. There's power in restraint. And like I just said, when you're quiet, you can really sit back, you can observe, you can think, you can really process all your thoughts and what's going on and going through your head, instead of you always trying to spew out things all the time. It gives you such an advantage in certain situations when you're observant of things and you're not always trying to talk and you're not always trying to be in the center of attention all the time. And when you speak less, people listen more. Your words carry more weight if you don't talk all the time and then you do decide to chime in and add something to the conversation, because then you're not just the guy that's always talking all the time. You ever be in a conversation and when that one person just won't stop talking, you just kind of start tuning out what they're saying. It just becomes a noise at that point. You don't even really want to hear what they have to say after a while because they're just talking so much and you're just tired of hearing their voice. Or people that you just know their whole life story and just everything that they do in every day and all day, and it's just a nuisance at that point, and you just know so much about them that it just takes away any sort of intrigue, or it takes away any sort of fun in that individual. A lot of quiet people, they dominate rooms just by presence alone. Presence and our energies are very important and they're very powerful, and people pick up on those things. Your brain protrudes a lot of frequencies out into the world, and a quiet, powerful frequency is a whole lot stronger than a loud, weak frequency. Having restraint makes you look and feel a whole lot more grounded, as opposed to somebody that's just always spewing the first thing that comes to their head. And talking less can be a strategy as well. When you talk less, you'll be able to observe, like I said. You'll be able to watch other people. You gather information easier. People that talk too much, they reveal their motives. They reveal their insecurities. They reveal their deep secrets. They reveal things that they don't even realize that they're revealing most of the time, because they just can't stop talking. And a lot of the times they reveal the truth on how they actually feel if they talk too much. Even if they are trying to hide how they feel, if you let them talk enough, you're gonna figure out how they feel one way or another. When you talk less, you notice more, and this helps you a whole lot with your composure. You can keep yourself together a whole lot more if you're just off in the tuck, or even if you are in a group and you're not off in a corner somewhere. Even if you are in a group and you're not always talking and you're just listening, first of all, people like when somebody listens to them. It'll make you more likable. But also, you'll be able to hold your composure more. You'll be able to not react to things as quick. You won't want to jump out of your chair with everything because of what somebody said. Look at the world that we're in right now. It's hard to stay quiet for a lot of people. I mean, it's kind of ironic. I'm sitting here in front of a camera about to post this, telling you to talk less while I am talking a whole lot, but it's different to me. It's different when you're actually doing it for an actual purpose and you're trying to get something out there, as opposed to you just spewing things online for the sake of spewing things, like what you had for lunch today. Nobody really cares about that stuff. Nobody really cares about the weird ins and outs of your life. People just scroll and post those things just for the sake of doing it because they're bored throughout their day. If you actually have something to say, or you think you have something to say, it is worth it to actually talk more, a little bit more, and see if you can reach somebody and see if somebody can relate to it. But social media rewards constant talking, especially when it's negative talk. That's all that gets the most clicks and the most views and the most attention, is just negative talk. And it has been that way for a while. That's just the unfortunate reality that we live in on the internet. But the real growth is in the silence. When you're in the gym chilling and you're zoned out, when you're in your room alone and you're reading something or you're reflecting, you're trying to journal, that's when the real growth actually happens. It's not in all that noise and in all the talking and in all the chaos. For a lot of people, they get really uncomfortable in the silence. They get really uncomfortable, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, with just silence. And get rid of that notion. You got to flip that. You got to get used to the silence, because that's when the real progress gets made. That's when your brain really talks to you about what you need to do and what you need to actually do to move forward and how you want to move forward and who you actually are deep down. When you get over it being uncomfortable, if that's how you feel, it'll become really peaceful after some time. It'll be the most peaceful thing you can get. Your solitude will be real peace. And there's something about mystery in a mysterious person. A person that you don't know a whole lot about, you're usually more attracted to them, in a sense where you want to talk to them more, or you want to maybe hang out with them more. It doesn't have to be visually, but you don't have to explain everything to everybody. You don't have to give away all your ideas and all your secrets, your deep dark secrets. You don't have to give away your opinions on everything. It's actually good to have no opinion on a lot of things, because then you'll just think clearer. You'll be better off that way. But there's an air of mystery that really intrigues a lot of people, and that holds presence in rooms, especially when there's people in the room that there's nothing mysterious about them. You know everything about them and their whole life, and you know what they ate 20 minutes ago. There's nothing intriguing about that person. And also, the less people know about you, the less people can use against you. People do that type of stuff. You think you're saying something to somebody and it's not going to get out, or you think that this person is trustworthy or something like that, and you tell them some things and you talk too much to them, and then the next thing you know, there's a rumor spread, or they're using that against you, or they're trying to do something nefarious with that information. The less you talk, the less you even have to worry about that type of stuff. It's no sweat off your back. You can just talk about what you actually are comfortable with sharing if you limit what you want to say and limit the thoughts that you let get out there. Stillness and quiet create gravity. It's like gravity. It pulls people in when you're still and when you're quiet and when you say less than what's necessary. So yeah, you don't need to prove what you know to anybody. You don't have to talk a whole lot. You don't have to give all your thoughts up. I encourage you to just observe more this week. It's the start of the week. Just try to talk less, observe more, listen more, learn a little bit more, and just see how it flips on your week, and see how it flips how you feel. Because when you start to really take in more, instead of you just always constantly talking, you're going to feel clearer inside. Or I think you will, at least. I know I do, for sure. I feel a whole lot clearer inside. But if you got this far, my name is TJ. If you found this helpful at all, consider hitting that like, consider subscribing. I was thinking about that today, so yeah, that's about it. I'm out here. I'll see y'all.